Chevy is fighting back against resellers. But is this really going to solve the problem? Resellers are definitely an issue. But what about price hikers? Is Chevy's view one-sided? Hey everyone, welcome to episode 13 of the Radar Report. I'm your host Travis, bringing you the latest in Enthusiast news. What's the deal with these manufacturers setting rules for their buyers on their higher-end models? Ford did it with the Ford GT, and now Chevy's doing it with the ZR1? There's a few reasons behind their choice, but first, let's delve into the details of the rules that Chevy has set up for its buyers. Chevy has come out stating if you flip a ZR1, you'll be banned from buying high-end Chevys forever. You'll also void the car's warranty. The deal is that all ZR1 buyers will have to sign this retention letter at delivery. In the letter, it goes over the terms of purchase for their high-end models of Corvettes, those models including the E Ray, Z06, and ZR1. The retention letter requires the E Ray and the Z06 to be held for a minimum of 6 months before you are allowed to sell it without penalties. The ZR1 commands a 1 full year ownership before being able to sell. But what if you want to sell it anyway? Are they going to pull a Ford and sue you like they did John Cena? Not quite. Chevy has stated that the retention letter is actually a guideline of owning their high-end vehicles. They are not legally binding. Therefore, you are free to sell your car anytime you see fit. Just don't plan on ever getting on the list to buy another one in the future. You will be blacklisted from ever purchasing a brand new high-end Chevy product. No second chances. If that wasn't bad enough, the car will also be blacklisted and lose all warranty, save for the EV battery warranty. The responsibility of informing the buyer will also fall on you. So if you are selling a new ZR1 prior to reaching the 1 year mark and neglect to inform the new buyer, you can run into some legal complications as that retention letter transfers all accountability to you. As a second-hand buyer, that could add more complication to the transaction, requiring you to verify before purchase. This is the first time Chevy has ever done something like this. This retention letter, which actually started in 2023 when the Z06 was released, is to maintain customer loyalty to the brand. They are enforcing this strict policy to ensure buyers of the new ZR1 don't flip their cars for an easy payday. That's all fine and dandy, as we can do without resellers. But where's the brand loyalty? The ZR1 is going to be a limited production run, so you know what that means. Dealer markups. Is Chevy going to enforce a policy for dealers to not mark up the vehicles? This is where my main problem lies with this action. If you are going to force the buyers to hold on to these vehicles, then it's only fair that you force the dealers to sell them at MSRP. It's bad enough normal sports cars, like the Z for example, are experiencing crazy markups for no reason, but the Halo cars are getting far too ridiculous. Even the normal Stingray went through some terrible markups when the C8 was first released. I like the idea of fighting against resellers. These cars should be bought for enjoyment and the experience, but the dealers have gotten far too out of hand with markups. If you can force your own customers to hold on to their purchase with their hard-earned money, then why can't you force the dealers to sell at the agreed MSRP of the vehicle? It goes both ways and is a serious problem that needs to be addressed. Which leads us to our next problem: manufacturers interfering with how owners can use their own vehicles. This is becoming more and more frequent in the performance world, where manufacturers are starting to dictate what an owner can do with their own vehicle, how much they can drive it, when they can sell it, and how they can modify it, if at all. Ferrari is the most known brand that champions this method of interference. What is causing this influx of limitations set on buyers? Since when was a purchase of a high-end car accompanied by a list of rules on how you can use it? Why is this even being accepted? If all things were equal, and the true reason was for customer and brand loyalty, they might have a strong leg to stand on, but all they are doing is alienating the very people who want to buy their cars. Car reselling is a very big business, but the general rule of thumb is that investing in cars is always a bad idea. If you buy a car with the intent of making a lot of money, you are very confused. There are so many other better ways to invest your money. That might not deter resellers from playing the game, but the biggest resellers in today's market are the dealerships. Why is there no regulation on them? This whole situation just stinks. In an attempt to limit resellers, the average buyer will not only be hurt, but subjected to outrageous price hikes set by the dealer. I expect this type of behavior from Ferrari, but we don't need companies like Chevy and Ford jumping on that bandwagon. Then how do we solve this? What is the right thing to do in this situation? I believe Chevy should keep that retention letter, but add a stipulation into the mix. Any owner who purchases said model and follows the guide by keeping the vehicle for the allotted time should be able to resell their car to the dealer for the same price they purchased it, or receive a rebate equal to the amount over MSRP that they paid. Oh, and make the dealers foot that bill. That will allow the dealers to choose how they want to go about selling their allocations. Sell it at MSRP and have no risk at all, or sell it with a markup and gamble on the buyer not keeping the vehicle for the allotted time. To add an extra incentive, dealers who sell at MSRP are no longer subjected to the buyback requirement, leaving them safe from having to purchase any of their sold cars back at MSRP. I believe that is a fair compromise that will give both the customers and the dealers options on how they would like to transact. I never imagined that a Corvette would reach this level and stir up this amount of trouble in the performance world. We are living in interesting times. Lingenfelter Performance Engineering is no stranger to the performance world. Providing sick Corvette iterations for the past 50 years, they are one of the gurus for the platform. So I wasn't surprised when I heard they were bringing the 427 cubic inch V8 back to the C8 Corvette. That's right, the 7-liter V8 will now be an option for the C8 Corvette. It's exciting and a testament to how solid the old LS motors truly are. So what does a 7-liter engine get you? 700 plus horsepower at 6,700 RPM and 600 pound-feet at 4,800 RPM, all without forced induction. That's not enough? LPE will also offer a twin-turbo package for the 7-liter, which will produce in excess of 1,100 wheel horsepower at 15 psi on racing fuel. The best part about this is the package will be designed to look nearly factory. You won't be able to tell it's not a stock LT2 V8 unless you know what to look for. So how exactly do you go about getting this done to your C8? You send your Corvette over to LPE, where the engine will undergo CNC blueprinting and sleeving processes on the motor. They'll also install new pistons from MAL as well as ported cylinder heads, which they developed in-house. I have to admit, that's pretty badass to be able to fully change your C8 by a legendary builder such as Lingenfelter, all while retaining factory-like performance, albeit much more of it. Rebuilt motor, factory-like drivability, and much more power? How much is this going to cost? About the price of a Miata. Packages start at $29,950, but for the full experience with all the options, you can expect to pay closer to $35,000. The question is it worth it to purchase this package over just buying a Z06 or a ZR1? Will Lingenfelter offer a warranty on any of this work? Considering you can pick up a used C8 for about $55K on the low end, it just might be worthwhile. What do you guys think? Leave a comment in the section below and let's talk about it. That's all today for the Radio Report. Be sure to check out last week's video and subscribe to stay updated for the latest Enthusiast news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.